Hey everybody, welcome back to Squat Pod Sports. We're bringing our thoughts on the latest games and sports news around the sports world, brought to you by the Sideline Sports Network. Week 2 has come and gone now. We're kind of seeing how some teams are kind of developing, some for the better, some for the worse so far. So we'll be talking about all those games that have happened this past weekend. Of course, we're going to predict next week's games for week 3. As well as a little bit of NBA news. Oh, what was that, Vern?
Excuse me. A lot of really good games next week here. I can't wait to see it.
I know, right? And of course, a little bit of NBA news or some here and there. Of course, the bias bubbles and the crazy sports stat fact of the podcast. So, I mean, we'll kind of hop right into it, man. Week 2 has happened. The Thursday night game was a lot better than what a lot of people expected, with the whole NFC least, everybody making fun of the NFC East beyond Thursday night football.
When you got two of them playing against each other, then you got a really good game,
Yeah, true. It is a division rivalry. But yeah, it was the Giants versus the Washington No Names. I'm pretty sure me and you both picked the Washington No Names in this one, right?
Jesus. Exactly. We both picked Washington in this one. So we started off the week hot on Thursday, felt real confident going into Sunday. See what happens the rest of the week.
What happens. But yeah, Washington, it was a close game, man. The Giants were starting to mount a comeback there, and then it kind of had transpired a lot of crazy events that happen, and kind of New York shot themselves in the foot. Now a coach that's very known for his special teams, that's where they kind of went wrong, which is that's kind of weird. Very surprising. But of course, we both knew the Giants were going to come out with the dub in this one. Washington was just the better team, even with, Taylor Heinicke kind of stepping into the starting role in it for the first time this season now.
Right. Like him and McLaurin, or Terry McLaurin, or I can't pronounce his last name, but Scary Terry. They already have a great rapport. Like they're so in tune, and it's just going to get better throughout the season. So yeah, I really like to see more of Trevor Heinicke or Taylor Heinicke.
Taylor Heinicke, yeah, absolutely. And what was the first game you have here on the Sunday slate, Vern, on your side?
First one we talked about was New England, man.
That's New England? Okay.
Yep.
So, yeah, New England, man, you guys with the dominant performance in this one against Zach Wilson.
That defense.
Yeah.
I told you. Bill Belichick punishes rookie quarterbacks no matter what. Same thing every season. Punishes them. 4 interceptions.
Don't lie.
Doesn't lie, man. I'm just super hype about it. 1-1 going into week 2 here. Got 2 tough matchups. We'll get to that, but very happy. Mac Jones looked great. He didn't do anything crazy. Damian Harris had that amazing run where he broke like 6 tackles. I was really happy about it. Even though it was just the Jets, I was really happy about it.
Yeah, and I mean, the Jets, we really talked about Zach Wilson. Even though they lost last week, he showed promise. He looked pretty decent in his debut, and then this week, starts off with his first 5 throws, 3 of them are picks, pretty much.
Right. At one point, he had 4 completions and 4 interceptions.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, that was not the game that he wanted. I know that, and the Jets, that was not what they needed after that first showing, in the week 1. But I mean, they're looking to go kind of get back on it here in week 2, maybe get a win. I mean, week 3, get a win. But man, your defense looked very good.
Oh yeah, they're pretty much tied right now for best defensive league, fantasy points wise,
Yeah.
But also played the Dolphins and the Jets, so let's see how it goes throughout the season there.
True. We'll move on to the next. We both picked New England in that one, by the way.
Yep.
Of course, this next one, might as well get it out of the way. 49ers and the Eagles. We both picked the Eagles. Man, on paper, the Eagles should have won this game. Even in the first 2 quarters, the Eagles looked like they should have won this. They were making all the big plays. They just couldn't get in the end zone for some reason. And then they decided to go for it on 4th. It didn't work. They opted not to go for a field goal at one point. So, I mean, what shot themselves in the foot was the decision making by Nick Sirianni at some points.
Wasn't there a touchdown called back as well?
Yeah, the Jalen Reagor, he threw a bomb to Jalen Reagor, and he stepped out of bounds by this much. He got pushed out of bounds, and whenever he came in, I guess he wasn't able to establish himself as a receiver. That got called back. And then he threw a 91-yard bomb to Quez Watkins, and that's whenever they couldn't get in the end zone there for some reason. Could look like a completely different team in the red zone this week compared to the first week. Like we were scoring at will on week 1. This week we just couldn't get in the end. We were making all the plays in between. But then I got to give credit where credit's due. The 49ers, their defense is great. Even with like their starting cornerback out, like that defensive line is good.
They're really only 2 years away from that Super Bowl, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, I kind of, I'm not going to lie, I underestimated them, you know, especially seeing what they did against the Lions in week 1. I mean, I think the first half was the Eagles. Like they lost it that first half. And then the second half, San Fran figured out that they could just do like those little pitch routes. And then they just ran that for like, I think it was 9 minutes. They took off the clock. It was like a whole quarter, bro. We didn't like that whole second half. I barely got to see the Eagles offense at all because like the San Fran was just using those pitch routes and runs and just kind of taking that time off the clock. And that's what won it for them. It was just smart football on their part.
Right. They had it under control. They pretty much had like a firm grasp of the game, even though
there was a turning
iffy in the first half.
Yeah, it was just like all these little mistakes added up for Philly. And then there was just a point where it was just the air was just let out where they just couldn't do anything from that point. And then Jalen Hurts tried to play savior at the end. He ran for like 60 yards or whatever, like and got a touchdown. He was
the leading rusher, right?
Yeah, he was the leading rusher. He got a touchdown late. I mean, for a minute, it was like 17-3 for a minute. And then he was able to come back. We got a touchdown, got 2 points. So it ended up 17-11. So, I mean, the score makes it closer than it actually was. But kind of like another team trying to turn around in week 3 here. But we both lost that one. We both picked Philly on that one. The Bengals and the Bears. I think we both picked the Bengals on this one, man.
Both picked the Bengals, and what we said would happen happened, and we still lost. You know, so like we didn't know Andy Dalton was going to get hurt, but he ended up going down. Justin Fields came in, and even though he wasn't flashy and the greatest thing ever, he ended up winning the game for him. You know.
Yeah, I think like Andy Dalton got hurt, and then he came back in for a minute, and then he left again, and he's like, nope, can't do it. And I mean, I'm going to talk about that a little bit before we go into week 3, because there was a lot of QB injuries this week.
Oh my God,
a lot of them. But yeah, unfortunately, we both picked the Bengals on that one. No one was expecting the Bears to come back with the dub on that one. But it looks like it's Justin Fields' time over there in Chicago.
I really hope so, man. Even if it's for now, because I know Nagy said something about Andy Dalton's the starter when he's healthy.
Yeah.
I would like to see some more Fields. Let him see some action here. Let's see what happens.
The next one here is kind of the similar situation. Texans and the Browns. Browns ended up coming out. I think I picked the Browns. I think we both picked the Browns, didn't we?
Yep, we both picked Cleveland in that one.
Okay. Yeah, that one, man, I think it would have been a lot closer if, of course, Tyrod Taylor, man, we talked about it. He is the unluckiest quarterback.
I know, man.
In the league. He has a hamstring injury. He's out now, and they said it could be with like over a month that he's out. So I mean, and that the Browns just kind of, even without Jarvis Landry, he got hurt and he's on the IR now. They were able to come back and win that game, you know.
Exactly. And Baker Mayfield got hurt even in that game.
Yeah.
Popped his shoulder out of place.
Scary.
Came back in the game and finished it. And like there was this play I was telling Alex about it. Like it was his non-throwing arm. So like it was just limp most of the time. You know what I mean? And he had one play where he had to throw a block. And he literally used one arm and pushed the dude over. And then like a couple minutes later, his arm's limp the whole time, but he's like, and he pushes the guy over and he goes back. He's like, I pancaked that guy one arm, you know, like it's hilarious. Like I love seeing the NFL mic'd up moments there.
Yeah. But yeah, you know, Browns, they came out with a dub on that one. They 1-1. There's a lot of good teams that are 1-1 right now. The next one here, Rams and the Colts. This is 3 games in a row. 3 in a row. QB gets hurt. Carson Wentz. Bad luck, Carson. Like, this dude's cursed.
This dude done sprained both his ankles.
Like, it's enough. Like, it wouldn't be surprising that he sprained one ankle. Be like, okay, he was having problems with his foot, but now both. How you sprain both your ankles on one play?
I just don't understand. He's like literally the most cursed quarterback I've ever seen in my life. Like,
and I think Howie Roseman might have made a good move on this one.
Might have. Absolutely. Got rid of
Absolutely.
damaged goods, man. Get the hell out of here
Yeah,
with
out
that
of here.
shit. Go to Indy, and we'll take Jalen. You know, like that's how it's just anything is better at this point because, like you said, you played in 4 playoff games and had to use your backup in every single one of them. So,
Exactly. We
like,
talked
what's the
about that
point?
last week, Howie throwing shade. But
Exactly.
yeah, now Jacob Eason looks like the QB there in Indianapolis.
We'll
Hey,
see what
Jacob Eason going to
happens.
take Carson's job.
They're calling that division the worst division of football now, not your division. I saw that shit, man. Like they're saying AFC
Damn.
South, worst division in football.
Damn. But the Rams, man, they had it under control. Matt Stafford was just balling like week 1, man. He was bombing it to
Yep.
Cooper Kupp. You know, they look great right now. The Rams look like a whole like juggernaut of a team.
They really do. And that's just that other division, the NFC West, which we said is going to be very strong. Seattle, Seattle, the Rams, Cardinals, and San Fran. So they're all, I think,
that's gonna be
only
a strong
one
division.
loss in the entire division, and that was Seattle just this week, the Tennessee.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get to that here. The next one was, I mean, we both picked the Rams in that one as well. Next one here, man, Bills and the Dolphins. The Bills
This was pretty
blanked them.
great. I love this. I had a great time watching this.
35-0. Tua,
Get the hell out of here.
This is like the 4th game in a row. Tua got hurt. Rib injury. Apparently, they had an MRI. It came out negative. He's all good. Apparently, they're just kind of going with his pain level now. It's like bruised ribs.
Right. And
so
that's not really anything you could do about that other than just kind of let it heal.
Exactly. Know? So, I mean, he might miss a game. Who knows?
Yeah.
But we both picked the Bills in that one. Man, that probably was the pick of the week, you know, because the Bills, they demolished.
That was the lock of the week.
That was the lock of the week.
Devin Singletary came out and had a great game, bounced back from week 1 where it was very subpar. You know, it's a great game here in week 2. So I was happy for him as well.
Yeah. I mean, Josh Allen, he only had 179 yards passing, 2 touchdowns and an interception. But yeah, they balled out, man.
Mm-hmm. Congratulations to Buffalo.
Congratulations to them.
Tied atop the AFC East with New England.
Yeah. Well, the Raiders. Your dad's probably super happy about this one. They 2-0 right now. You know, last week they beat the Ravens in that crazy game to end week 1. And now this week, you know, they took it to the Pittsburgh. They beat the Steelers this week.
The Raiders are genuinely surprising me. Derek Carr is heaving the ball down the field, man.
He got hurt this game. He came back.
He did, but he came back. And Henry Ruggs is something special, man.
Yeah.
Henry Ruggs
he's being he's super underutilized, I feel like, in Vegas so far.
Right. He's more of a deep threat right now, but I mean, if that could keep working, just keep rolling with that. But it surprised me, man. That 61-yard touchdown was amazing to see. Like they're saying, like the way he could just track the ball in the air and get under it and be fast enough to get under a deep ball like that. So he's a great addition for them. So I hope they keep rolling. To be honest, I'd like seeing Las Vegas doing well.
Yeah. I mean, Derek Carr had 282 yards, 2 touchdowns. Pittsburgh, man, they even like switched offensive coordinators. I know their O-line is an issue, but their offense just is not clicking well. Like I know Big Ben apparently, like rumors as of this week now, is that they're just he's having frustrations with the offense, with the gameplay. Like they just don't know what they're doing right now. Like they just think it's too mediocre.
Something about he has like a pectoral injury.
Yeah, I mean he has a pectoral injury, which he's questionable for this next game. But who knows?
Play,
man?
But
I'm sure. Oh yeah, you know Big Ben. You know he's definitely gonna play unless they tell him like, all right, you definitely can't play.
Right, but. It's a long season, so Steelers still got time. They're 1-1 as well. They did beat Buffalo last week, so that was a huge win for them. But this was a big drop here. So see where they go going forward. But Deontay Johnson is legend in the making right now, man. Like I'm telling you, that dude is the shit. I think he's great. Wide receiver factory back at it again.
Yards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they just have a way. And I mean, Najee Harris, he only had like 38 yards, but he had that highlight play of just like slamming that dude into the ground.
Yeah, that stiff arm.
That mean stiff arm. But yeah, you're right. They just keep finding these like diamond in the rough wide receivers
and turning them into production players.
Yeah, Exactly. And then they go somewhere else and they're not finding that they don't have the production, or like they're not what they were in Pittsburgh.
Right. It's
With the
maybe
exception of
a
like
scheme
Antonio.
thing. But you picked Pittsburgh in that one. I picked Las Vegas in that one.
Damn.
You called me crazy. You called me crazy.
This next one we both lost. I'm pretty sure it was the Saints and
Yeah.
the Panthers. Man, the Saints look like an entirely different team.
We were very confident about New Orleans going into this, and then Carolina and Sam Darnold said, "What? Okay, McCaff go get about 130 scrimmage yards, something like that."
Yeah.
Like, man, they look like they're back to where they were. Yeah, Panthers 2-0, man.
2-0.
I don't think they're going to win the division, not with Tom Brady here, but that's a great start to the season there for him.
Definitely. But Sam Darnold, man, threw for 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did have a pick, but Jameis Winston, he had 111 yards and 2 interceptions. Jameis.
Only 111 yards.
111 yards and 2 interceptions.
Damn. All right, so he was
a lead rusher with 19 yards and a touchdown too.
Jameis Winston?
Yeah, that's what it had on here.
Had more yards than Kamara?
Maybe that was just because he had a touchdown. Yeah, Kamara only had 5 yards.
What? Like, yeah. I didn't get to watch that game, so I didn't
5 yards and touchdowns for Kamara.
Damn, man.
But yeah, the Saints, man, they look terrible in that game. Panthers, Sam Darnold, man, maybe under Matt Rule over there, they got something, something special here in the works over the next year or so. Like you're saying, I don't think they're going to do anything this year, but hey,
I don't know what they'll be able to accomplish, but it's a great look. It's a great start to building something there.
Exactly, you can build off of that.
Right.
Another surprising team, 2-0, Broncos and Jaguars, man. I'm not sure who do we pick on this one.
We picked Denver, both of us.
Both. Okay, so we were all right with that one. But yeah, they're 2-0 right now. Teddy B, he's looking good over there in Denver.
Looking great. Out. I mean, they did play some pretty shitty teams the first 2 games.
Pretty shitty teams.
But I thought they were a shitty team as well. They're proving me wrong. So they're beating up on these shitty teams the way that a good team does. So credit to Denver. Keep it rolling. Like to see Teddy Bridgewater succeeded.
Yeah. So we picked right on that one. This next one, Vikings and Cardinals. I think did I switch my pick over to the Cardinals on this one? I think I did.
We both picked Arizona.
And I'm glad I did, man, because the Vikings, they cannot find a kicker that can make field goals in the last second. This is like the 11th time this happened now. But yeah, it was a great game, like Vikings ended up coming back, and then the Cardinals came back on them, So, I mean, and then it came down to that last second field goal. Kyler Murray, man, once again, is just proving he's a human cheat code right now.
He's Kyler Murray for MVP?
Possibly. It's way too early to say, but it's quite possible.
I'm genuinely
keeps on this trajectory.
Impressed. I know, like I keep saying, like I was really on them Cardinals for weeks now, since we've been talking about it, and like I'm so happy to see it like actually happening. Like, and I have no stock in the Cardinals, obviously, Patriots fan here, but like I just love seeing it because Kyler Murray is such a even the way he throws the ball, it looks like a baseball player. Like there's just so much there. It's so entertaining to watch, and then like the way he backpedals and throws it 60 yards, like it's just he's like you said, he's a cheat code right now. Keep it up.
Looks like a video game character.
Right.
Man, I'm talking about another human cheat code. Tampa Tom Brady. And the Tampa Bay Gronkaneers dropping almost a 50 burger. They dropped 48 points on the Falcons, the Falcons were in it for a minute. They brought it within a couple points there. And then, man, Tampa just turned it up on them.
I think they either set or tied a record with that game there of 9 straight victories, all scoring over 30 points. And the only other 2 teams to do that were the Patriots with Tom Brady at the helm.
Yeah,
so
I did have that written down here. That crazy sports stack, Tom Brady just out here balling on teams.
Every week there's something new. Tom Brady did this. Tom Brady did that. He's gonna turn 50 and still be playing football apparently now. Like that's what we're hearing now. It's incredible.
Speaking of Tom Brady, I do have a thing here that's saying, is this Tom Brady's best stretch of his career? Which is 17 touchdowns over his past 4 games, including the playoffs. 9 straight games won while scoring 30-plus points, including the playoffs. 9 passing touchdowns in his first 2 games this year. the eight span where Tom Brady has won 10 straight while he averaged 300 yards and 3 touchdowns per game. 4 straight games with 4+ passing touchdowns, tied with Dan Marino for the second longest streak ever.
4 straight games with 4 touchdowns at least.
Yeah. And then he's the first player to lead the NFL in touchdowns through 2 weeks after turning 40. This dude, another player. Tom Brady's an MVP contention already in week.
I did have some early stats here as far as just because the last 2 games we talked about these two. I only had 2 written down. Kyler Murray and Tom Brady as far as MVP race right now. Kyler Murray, 689 yards, 7 touchdowns, 3 picks. Okay. Through 2 games. Tom Brady, 655 yards, 9 touchdowns, 2 picks. Like, he has slightly less yards, but his touchdown to interception ratio is better.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a long season, but it's really more of the same out of Tom Brady.
Yeah, I mean, it is not just him. I mean, the defense had 2 pick sixes. And
the same player.
Yeah, and just the whole team, man, is a juggernaut. Like, I know we talk about the Chiefs. I mean, we'll talk about them in a second. We talk about, like, the Ravens or the Bills. But the Buccaneers, I don't know if they could be stopped. I feel like they're just on a trajectory to just win another Super Bowl at this point. Unless something drastic happens, it seems like they're just going to – there's a possibility that they could get the 17-0 season.
There's we talked about before the season, they're the only team we think that has a chance to go undefeated.
Yeah, absolutely. And I highly believe that, man, with their defense and with all the powerhouse they have on offense, it's incredible. Tom Brady has so much time there just to chill and just wait till somebody gets open. One of the many options.
About Gronk doesn't even watch film. He just Tom Brady tells him what the fuck to do.
This was on the Manning cast last night with they were doing the commentating the Monday night game. And yeah, they had Gronk on there and he said that he never watches tape because he says that he has the best QB in the league that watches like 50 hours of tape a week. And he just says, "Hey, Tom, who's going to be covering me this week? Like, what do they tend to do and all this?" And then Tom just kind of directs him where to go and what to do on each play.
Exactly. And he's like, "Hey, catch the ball. As long as he keeps catching the ball, Tom Brady's going to keep him around."
Exactly. And he also, in that same thing, he thanked Peyton Manning for giving Tom that play where Gronk just cuts across that middle deep, like we were talking about before. He's like, "I want to thank you for that because I made my career off of that, and I'm going to probably break your record because I guess they have a record going that could pass Peyton Manning and who was it? Wasn't T.Y. One of their other receivers there, but they had a record of like a certain amount of touchdowns in a certain span. I guess Tom and Gronk can break that here.
Of course.
I mean, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna
week 3 record they break."
Well, yeah, he was ribbing on Peyton, saying like, "Oh, we're gonna break that record with that play that you gave Tom." Pretty much.
That's cool, though, man. Like, keep it going. I got love for Tom Brady and Gronk still. Don't get me wrong. I got a picture of Tom Brady chilling right there in a Patriots jersey. Okay, never gonna be in a Bucs jersey, but there's terrific Tom right there.
Of course we picked the Buccaneers in that one. I think we have to pick them every week now. Exactly. This next one, the Cowboys and the Chargers, man, that came down to the last minute, field goal by the Cowboys. They were trying to lose that game though. That's what I mean.
I texted you guys like halfway through, like, these Cowboys suck, and I even picked them to win this game here. But I just am embarrassed. They're like, I just don't understand. Like, it seemed like so much was going wrong. Like, it didn't seem effort. Like, I don't know. It just didn't seem like they were going to be a division winner. Job.
They're going to trade Zeke and keep Pollard.
Running back by committee at the moment. It's not Zeke's position.
That kid looks great, though.
He does. He did amazing. First 2 weeks, he's been doing great. But Dallas did end up winning that game on the field goal.
Yeah.
I picked Dallas. You picked the Chargers on that one. The Chargers got screwed a couple times on some calls there, man. That Justin Herbert sack, that wasn't a sack.
Yeah.
When like they called him that. It is what it is, but the Chargers
beat me again this week.
Spoiler alert.
The Titans and the Seahawks. I think I picked the Seahawks on this one, didn't I?
Both of us did.
Okay, that makes me feel a little better.
So
Titans.
Hit on that.
Not just the Titans, but Derrick Henry just said, "We're not losing this game." He said, "We ain't losing this."
Fuck that. 3 touchdowns, 160 yards. I do what I want. Okay,
I do what I want.
Stop me. Try to stop
me.
We ain't losing 2. So Tennessee came out and righted the ship there against a great Seattle team with Russ. So that was a huge win for them. Very happy for what's going on there in Tennessee. I still don't know if they'll be able to do much damage in the playoffs with the Bills and the Ravens and the Chiefs and everything like that. But great showing for him here early against one of the better teams in the NFL.
Exactly. And the Seahawks, I mean, they're a great team, like you were saying as well. There's no reason to believe that they're not going to win a ton of games this season. You know, that was a great game. You know, it's just Derrick Henry. You don't have someone that could stop the juggernaut that is Derrick Henry. You know,
you need to take like 4 people just to bring him down.
Exactly. You saw what he threw Josh Norman away the other year. Out of here. But this next game, the Chiefs and the Ravens, the night game, what a great game that was.
This was an amazing
game. Like Derrick Henry, Lamar said, "We are not losing this game. I am not losing to the Chiefs again. This not happening."
I'm gonna run through whatever I gotta run through to get that first down. At the end, you know, where he was talking to Harbaugh. I'm really happy for the Ravens. We both picked the Chiefs in this one here. But that's just because of what we saw out of the Ravens week 1. This shows you they're still contenders in the AFC.
Absolutely.
Even with all the injuries.
Absolutely. You can never count the Ravens out. I mean, Lamar, he was slinging it that game too. Like a lot of people kind of underestimate him and they say that he doesn't have an arm and that's his weakness. But man, I think this season so far, he's been slinging the ball pretty well.
Mm-hmm. And running. So he's
running. Yeah.
Back to the dual threat, you know, but he's throwing the ball well, which is great to see. You don't want to see him become one-dimensional. So I'm really glad. The Chiefs will be fine. The Ravens needed this game way more than the Chiefs did.
Exactly. I mean, they look at the score. It was 36-35. They only won by 1 point.
Right. But that's just because of a late Mahomes pick, you know?
Exactly. Which is wild. You don't see Mahomes throwing picks.
Apparently, that was his first pick in September.
Yeah.
Period. And he also said it was like his worst throw he's ever, like, it was like one of the worst throws he's ever thrown. So he already come out and was like, man, forget that.
Yeah, even with that, he had a 131 QB rating with that pick
because he
threw 343 yards and 3 touchdowns. So he balled out. Other than that, Tyreek Hill only had like 15. Oh, that was 50 yards rushing. But Kelsey had 109 yards.
They quieted Tyreek Hill the whole time. 14 yards.
14
Not
yards.
Good for me, but
Kelsey had 109 because like he had that huge play where he just took off.
Just going. But Kelsey doing Kelsey thing. So
that was a wild game.
Came up a little short.
Yep, we both had the Chiefs on that one. Monday night, we both picked the right team on this one though.
Nope. I picked Detroit, remember?
Did you?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't remember you picked Detroit.
I picked Detroit in this one. I was like, let's go, Lions. You got to take. Aaron Rodgers came out and balled.
I totally forgot you picked Detroit. Damn.
Balled. I wasn't expecting that. I should have been
Aaron Rodgers. Not just Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Jones balled.
Aaron Jones got me 50 points in fantasy, bro. This shit's wild. He had 4 touchdowns. But did you see the thing about him losing the chain? He had a little chain on his neck with a little mini football that had his father's ashes in it. On the last touchdown he lost it in the end zone. And he was saying like there would be no other place my dad would want me to lose that type of, you know what I mean? Like so I thought that was pretty cool. But congratulations to Aaron Jones on a huge game. I feel like this is the first time he's had 4 touchdowns in a game.
Yeah. And I mean, the Lions, they were holding on for a minute, you know, it was kind of a good game. They were going touchdown for touchdown. And then they just, you know, they weren't able to commit and get a touchdown, get a score the one time. And then it just kind of went from there. They were just getting stopped. It snowballed. And the Packers just dominated from there, man. 35-17. Old Aaron, the bad man. And he's back. Silence the haters.
He's like, oh, yeah, y'all go say we suck. All right.
295 yards and 4 touchdowns for the bad man.
Everybody should have expected this. It's just recent events made us think otherwise. So now I'm back with you, Green Bay.
And even Devontae Adams had 121 yards receiving.
Yeah.
Like he didn't have any touchdowns, but man, dude put some yards. Game. Huge game. Right.
So after week 2 there, we were both we'll say after week 1, you were 9-7, I was 10-6.
Yeah.
During this week here, you were 9-7, I was 10-6. Once again, we went with the same records. So now
you have two on me now.
Yep, I'm 20-12. You're 18-14. So we're right there. Like, but it's a 2-game advantage at the moment.
I gotta come back. Before we go into week 3, though, I did have the list of all the QBs that got hurt and the status as of right now. The first one here is Tua. X-rays were negative on his bruised ribs. As we talked about a little bit ago, it's just kind of going off of what his pain level is and if he's able to practice at this point.
Right.
It's most likely, I imagine, that he's not going to play this week.
I wouldn't. I mean, just try to keep him healthy. Healthy, but as healthy as possible.
Yeah. Next one, Andy Dalton, bone bruise in his knee. Apparently, they're saying that he's week to week. So it's looking like it's Justin Fields' time.
Yeah.
Now, like you were saying, he did come out and say that when healthy, Andy Dalton's a starter. So are they really going to play Justin Fields for like 2 weeks and then just bench him for Andy Dalton? Like,
especially if he doesn't perform well, I can see that happening. But I hope he performs well enough to keep the job.
Yeah, exactly. But you never know. It's Matt Nagy.
Exactly.
Tyrod Taylor out with a hamstring. They're saying it could be over a month that he could be out, which sucks for him. Derek Carr, ankle, he's questionable. They said. John Gruden said that he's questionable for this game this weekend as of right now. So I would imagine that he's going to play.
Yeah, I figure he's probably going to play too. Unless something crazy happens, I see Derek Carr starting this week.
Yeah. Carson Wentz, apparently he was at the facility with a boot on a scooter. Even though he was with a boot riding around on a scooter, Frank Reich said that they're going to see if he's able to practice that all this week. If not, they're going to go from there. So
you know what they should see is if they could get a new quarterback.
No. Give him some robot ankles so he can go out there and at least play 70% of them snaps.
It's looking iffier by the week, man.
Big Ben has a pec strain because he took too many hits, apparently. And his status is questionable as well. Like we were saying, Big Ben's like always been that dude to play through injuries and stuff. And I wouldn't imagine he would sit out for this one.
Exactly.
And Baker Mayfield, we talked about for his shoulder, his X-rays were cleared as negative. So I mean, it's looking like I didn't see any questionable status on him, but it's looking like he's
good to go. He's good to go. He popped it out, popped it back in. He's good to go.
Yeah.
He's got a week to recover.
And speaking of the Texans, QB Davis Mills is going to be in at QB. I don't even know who Davis Mills is.
I think they drafted him in the 3rd round this year.
Because they are insisting, like they keep saying week to week, Deshaun Watson's not going to be available to play this week.
Yeah, for some reason they keep telling us.
Why don't you just say that he's just not going to play at all this year? Like, just say it.
Because it's pretty obvious that he's not going to see the field here.
Yeah. Broncos offensive linebacker Bradley Chubb undergo arthroscopic ankle surgery, and he's going to be on IR for a minute.
Yeah, out 6 to 8 weeks.
6 to 8 weeks.
That's huge for Denver, so I hope they can step up all that defense there.
Yeah, absolutely. The Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence leads the NFL with 36% of uncatchable pass rate.
That's just really funny to me, man. This dude, number 1 overall quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, blah, blah, blah.
36% uncatchable balls he's throwing. So, I mean, there's still a lot of season. Still a lot of season left.
Still a lot of season, but he's far from Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, far from it. Browns plays wide receiver Jarvis Landry on reserve with an MCL sprain. He's going to be out for at least 3 weeks.
I mean, hopefully OBJ comes back soon here, but that definitely sucks for them.
Yeah, they're saying OBJ might be coming back here week 3.
Okay, awesome.
So it's looking like he's coming back right now is the perfect time. Amazon is closing on a deal on hiring Al Michaels for Thursday Night Football broadcast through Amazon. So it's looking like kind of broadcasting starting to go towards streaming now. It's like
you're not going to have cable anymore. They're just going to be like, you want NFC games, you can get at Amazon. You want, these games, get CBS All Access or something. You know what I mean? Like things like that.
Yeah. We talked about that Manning night football. And Peyton Manning also took a shot at Tom Brady, saying that when they would play in New England, he would talk to his receivers in the showers because he was convinced his locker was bugged.
This isn't the first time I've heard Peyton Manning say this. He's like a broken record. He's said that shit before.
He loves ripping on Tom Brady at every chance that he could get.
He thinks he's fucking hilarious.
He does. Yeah, and it's not in like any bad nature. Like he's friends with Tom. He's just ripping on him. It's lighthearted.
Peyton. Talking about receivers in the shower because I'm worried about the locker room. Fuck out of here, Peyton Manning, 5-head.
With the 49ers backfield already banged up, San Fran's bringing free agent running backs Duke Johnson and Lamar Miller in for visits. Okay. I haven't seen any of them but have been signed as of yet.
Still bringing them in just to work them out, see what's going on.
Just to work them out. The AP's still out there. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe AP can go to San Fran.
That would be interesting, man. That would be really interesting. The historical franchise, historical player.
Why not?
That'd be really cool.
Why not? And especially with that O-line they have, I think AP would be nice on San Fran.
Right. He's just trying to add to his totals for his career rushing yards as well.
Yeah. Lamar Jackson made history. Lamar Jackson is the first player to record a 200-yard pass and a 100 rushing yard, 2 rushing touchdown game in NFL history.
Nice, man. Lamar's out here doing Lamar things, man.
Setting records out here.
Setting records. Not breaking records, setting records.
Setting records. He also has now tied Michael Vick for the most 100-yard rushing games by a QB in NFL history. Including playoffs, he now has 11 games. Yeah, of 100
Michael
rushing.
Vick only had 11 in his whole career?
I guess so, yeah.
Jesus, Lamar
100 rushing yards.
Right.
Yeah.
Lamar is a beast, man. Like, that's awesome. So, he's probably going to have with 22 of those, like, in his career, maybe even more. So he's going to run away with this record here.
Yeah. But, I mean, that's the way the NFL's going. So I think it's crazy now, but maybe in like 10, 20 years, maybe it can be broken. There is going to be another QB that's going to, like, cause the way the NFL is going.
Like a Kyler Murray or something.
Yeah, exactly. Multiple NFL teams reached out in recent days to 5-time Pro Bowler cornerback Richard Sherman. So apparently teams are starting to reach out, and apparently the Buccaneers have already reached out to him.
Great.
So, like, awesome. How do they even have the cap space to bring Richard Sherman in as the quarterback?
Oh man, he's aging, but so is Tom Brady. So if they can get anything out of him, that'd be a great pickup for them.
Yeah, I mean, I was pushing for Philly to sign him. I mean, I would still like to sign him, just have the depth, if we could.
Right.
Will Fuller.
To see him in a patch jersey after all the.
Oh man, imagine if he goes there, him with Gilmore whenever Gilmore comes back. That'd be nice. That'd be very nice for you guys. I could see him definitely going there to just be with Belichick too.
Right. It's happened before.
Exactly.
Look at James Harrison. I didn't expect James Harrison to be a Patriot.
Jalen Mills.
Uh-huh.
Will Fuller, who was a Texan last year, he got traded to the Dolphins. Apparently, he has not been practicing, and he hasn't been playing, and apparently he might not play this season due to personal issues and personal reasons.
Interesting.
I haven't seen anything really in depth, but apparently it's been affecting his practicing, and apparently it's not been able to play. He hasn't wanted to play.
Okay, we'll see how that unfolds. Hopefully everything's okay with him.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something to monitor here. We talked about the Giants a little bit earlier. Here's some historical things as well. This loss the Giants had makes them 0-2 for the 5th straight season. No team has started 0-2 in 5 straight seasons since the Rams from 2007 to 2011. I believe that was with old Jeff Fisher. Maybe. It might have been before that. Maybe. I thought it was Jeff Fisher.
During that era. Yeah.
But yeah, and not only that, but the Giants are now 18-48 since 2017, and that's the worst in the NFL.
Oh my God. I have no faith in those Giants.
Win percentage for the Giants.
Danny Nichols, you're done. You're not going to be there very long.
I think he's gone after this
season. Pack them bags. They're going to replace you with Trubisky.
I could see it, man. I think he would be better there than Danny Dimes. I think he would. I think Trubisky would be better.
Me too. It's crazy because Jones always has great games against the Washington football team, and I think this was the first loss he had against them. But
yeah,
it just he had a great game. The rest of the team just let him down, man.
Yeah. The Colts are going to appear on the first in-season edition of Hard Knocks this season, beginning in November. Apparently, they've been filming some stuff, and they're going to be putting it out in November following the end-season process. And I'm sure it's going to be pretty interesting with old Carson Wentz being QB there.
Right. I wonder how much film. Colts. I wonder how much film they already have.
Exactly. So keep your eye out for that. That's going to be pretty interesting. San Francisco linebacker Dre Greenlaw planning to have surgery to repair a groin injury, out 6 to 8 weeks. So another big blow to San Francisco there. Another blow here. Cowboys DE DeMarcus Lawrence suffered a broken foot at practice. He's out significant time. That's like one of the best players on defense there.
Yeah,
so that's a huge blow to Dallas.
He's an older veteran, but like definitely you say he's one of the best players they have out there. So that's just, and they need defensive pieces right now.
Yeah, exactly. A couple things left here. Gerald McCoy, the Raiders, suffered a season-ending injury the other Monday night, and he's done. Dunzo. Sucks. Drake. We'll talk about Drake here for football. Drake will be picking the tracks that run during Monday Night Football promos and telecasts, pre-game shows for 10 games this season.
There. I thought that was interesting. He's going to be just playing a lot of Drake music.
Yeah, he's just play my tracks. It's like, yeah, sure, I'll pick a playlist for you. It's just all of his own tracks.
Just be God's playing over and over and over and over.
Passion fruit right in the middle. Allen Robinson has not dropped a pass beyond 20 plus yards downfield since 2016.
Damn. That's a hell of a streak. It's 5 years. That dude's so underrated.
Right? We talk about that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And the last thing I have, Urban Meyer was asked about, possibly bailing and going to coach college football again. He said, there's no chance of that. He said, I'm here and committed to trying to build this organization.
Yeah, okay. There's no chance of him bailing and going to college because he's going to bail for the NFL and just retire and just be done, because that's what he does.
Yeah, I'm not going to college football. I'm just going.
I'm just going.
He's
like, see, I didn't lie to you. I'm just going. I'm not going to college. I'm going. We'll see. I saw a lot of the coaches think that he's not going to be around very long.
I did see that. I
see what happens.
There's a lot of skepticism that they think he's going to be like a one and done coach.
Right. Which is hard to believe, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see how the season plays out. But that's all the news from this week. So we'll roll into the week 3 picks here for this week. Starting with the Thursday night game, which would have been a lot more interesting with old Tyrod Taylor in there. So it's the Panthers and the Texans.
It's pretty hard for me to go with the Texans right now without Tyrod. So I'm going to roll with Carolina in that game here.
Carolina's 8-point favorites on this one. I'm rolling Carolina as well. They're going to be 3-0 start this season.
Right out the gate there.
Right out the gate.
And then have a nice break here because they got 10 days before their next game.
Yeah, absolutely. The first week 1 matchup I see here is the Washington No Names versus the Bills. I think this is going to be a tough game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any means, but I think the Bills are going to come out on top.
I think this might be a beatdown, to be honest.
You think it's going to be a beatdown?
I think it might be a beatdown. Buffalo's going to come out and smack Washington right in the face there. So I'm rolling with Washington.
The only reason I think it's going to be close is because of the Washington defense. I think they'll be able to, but who knows how that Washington offense is going to be able to do. So, I mean, it could be both ways. It could be decent, or like you're saying, it could be a blowout. I could totally see either of them.
Right. So we'll see, but we're both picking Buffalo on that one.
All right. So we both have Panthers, both have the Bills. Next one here is the Bears versus the Brownies. Cleveland is 7-point favorites in this one.
Yeah, I don't care what the Bears do or who they start. I'm not picking them.
I'm picking the Browns.
I'm picking Cleveland in this one, man. I can't go against it. I just think Baker Mayfield will will that team to a victory here, especially against a team like Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, even with Jarvis Landry out, if Odell plays, I think they'll definitely win. I think Odell will have a big game.
Nick Chubb has been killing it, man. So
yeah,
keep feeding him the rock.
He's a monster.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm picking the Browns on that one. Next one here, the Ravens and the Lions. Man, them Lions gonna be 0-3 start the season.
I agree with you. Baltimore is going to come
Ravens.
hype off the win from last week and tear it up here and
Exactly.
definitely get the W there.
Ravens all the way. Next one here, Colts and the Titans. Interesting little matchup. I'm picking the Titans.
Same. So far we got the
Even
same picks
with
here.
Carson Wentz in.
Even if they started Carson Wentz, I'm picking Tennessee. They just took down Russell Wilson, hype off of that, and then this is a home game here.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Colts gonna start out 0-3, man. Not good.
Mm-hmm. Not a good start to the Carson Wentz era.
No, not at all. The Chargers and the Chiefs. Man, I'll pick the Chiefs of this one, man.
Yeah, this is tough, to be honest with you. I kind of want to pick the Chargers.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like this is one of those types of games they squeak out, but it's an Arrowhead. So I'm going to roll with Kansas City.
And I think Kansas City had bad taste in their mouth, coming off that L against the Ravens. Right. Chargers, they just look stagnant against the Cowboys there towards the end. They just weren't able to do anything.
Especially in the red zone. I mean, Keenan Allen's still Keenan Allen, but he couldn't do anything in the red zone there. So you're going to have to put points up to beat Kansas City.
Absolutely. Rolling with the Chiefs on that one. This next one's pretty interesting. The Patriots versus the Saints, eh?
Oh, yeah. We going to have Jameis Winston come to town, and we going to whoop his ass, okay? Patriots by 15. I'm going to even write plus 15 next to that. Patriots by 15. Okay? I'm calling it right now. Patriots by 15.
You're a madman. You're a madman.
Who you picking?
I'm picking the Saints.
I knew it.
I'm picking the Saints.
All right, that's our first disparity there. So we'll see what happens in that game.
I have to pick the Saints. I think they're going to try to figure something out coming off that L they took this past week to Carolina. And I think they're going to figure something out here.
If they couldn't do nothing against Carolina's defense, man, what are they going to do against Patriots defense? Pick whoever
they
do
you
have
want. Camara, though. They do have Camara.
They do. But we'll see what happens there. Bill Belichick usually takes your best player out the game.
That's true. I'll roll with the Saints.
Gotcha.
The Falcons and the Giants. Oh God.
Yeah, this is a shit show, but I'm rolling with Atlanta in this one. I'm not picking New York. I'm not.
Yeah, I Falcons were giving Tampa a run for their money for a minute. So
they were hanging with them when they needed to. So I think they can put up points against these Giants here.
I think the Falcons will win that game. The only reason I think the Giants would win is if Danny Nichols just keeps running, because that's all he's good at is running.
Yeah. He's already got 122 yards on the season.
Yeah. But I'm going to roll with the Falcons, man.
Yep.
I feel like they're kind of figuring something out each week. They're finding a bit of their identity each week, the Falcons. This past week, Kyle Pitts had like 70-something yards. He had a great game. Calvin Ridley had a good game. So I think they'll be okay, especially against the Giants. I think they'll be all right against the Giants.
Yep, I completely agree with you. I think the Falcons take that one for sure here.
Bengals and the Steelers.
I'm a roll with Pittsburgh.
I think I'm rolling with Pittsburgh too, man.
I think they can really take them down. The Bengals aren't quite on the level of the Steelers right now. Steelers coming off a loss.
Gonna be running.
He's going to be running for his life away from this Steelers defense. Pittsburgh all the way on this one here, man.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that one. They're only 3.5-point favorites, though, which is crazy. I thought there'd be more. But yeah, definitely got them. This next one could be the lock of the week. Cardinals versus the Jaguars. They are 7.5-point favorites on the Jags. I'm going with Arizona on this one. It's going to be a blowout.
Definitely be a lock. As long as Kyler Murray's healthy, he's going to be running all over the place, heaving the ball down the field like always. Like we said, MVP candidate right now.
Whatever
Kyler Murray.
His Kyler Murray stats are for this game, pick the over on him.
Yeah, honestly. Right, exactly.
The next one here, the Jets and the Broncos. I'm rolling with the Broncos on this one. The damn Broncos are going to start out 3-0. Cody going to be so happy.
3-0 as well. They're tough guys.
They play in these trash teams.
Exactly. They're playing trash teams. They're gonna end up with a great record here until they start playing some real teams and then go on a 5-game losing streak or some shit, So
yeah,
I am gonna pick Denver for this game, but just because it's the Jets.
Yeah. Denver on that one. Next one here, Raiders and the Dolphins. I'm rolling with Vegas, baby.
It's hard to not roll with Vegas right now. They're hot.
They're only and somehow 3.5 point favorites. I feel like they should be higher than that, given who they beat.
Denver and Las Vegas are the only 2 undefeated teams in the AFC, and Las Vegas is the one that's actually out here beating good teams to get there. So I'm rolling.
They are something.
Right. I'm definitely rolling with the Raiders.
So the Dolphins, who might not even have Tua, yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Because they got Jacoby Brissett as their backup,
which is okay. Just he wasn't the starter for a reason.
Yeah, and I don't think 1 week of preparation is going to be enough for him.
Right. Exactly.
This next one, man, is going to be a great game. Buccaneers versus the Rams. First time Tom Brady plays in LA ever.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. He's gonna win the game. If he's gonna be at a stadium, he's not gonna be 0-1 at that stadium. He's gonna win the game. I'm rolling with Tampa Bay.
I'm rolling with Tampa Bay too. I feel like I can't pick against Tampa Bay at all this season unless something crazy happens.
Right.
Even against the Rams, who have been playing lights out so far, I think the Buccaneers are the most dominant all around.
Exactly. And I think, like you were saying, it's still Matt Stafford and the Rams are going to have a great game. It's probably going to be close.
It's going to be close.
Tom Brady will end up having a ball at the end of the game, come down, game-winning drive.
You heard it here, folks.
Mm.
So I'm picking the Buccaneers along with you on that one.
Yep, me too.
The Seahawks and the Vikings.
This is
think
tough.
About this one?
This is tough, to be completely honest with you.
Vikings, they've been showing signs of life, but they are 0-2.
For the sake of being different, I'm rolling with Minnesota in this game. They almost beat Arizona last week, just almost. Kirk Cousins has, I think they said, 16 game-winning drives over his career. Like, he's primetime Kirk now, even though he still comes up short sometimes. Like, he does go out there and ball when he needs to.
Yeah.
When he needs
Dalvin Cook had a great game.
Dalvin Cook had a great game.
Yeah, he had an injury scare, and then he came back and balled even more.
So I know Russell Wilson, Seattle, the real deal, all that. Tyler Lockett out here balling already, 278 yards on the season.
Yeah.
I just really think Minnesota will find a way, even with their kicking woes, they'll find a way to win this game here. It's at Minnesota.
I am actually going to roll with the Seahawks on this one. Okay. I'll defer with you on that one. I think the Seahawks, they're going to be fighting. They should have won that last game. They think they should have won this last game. So I think they're going to roll in, and I think Russ is going to look to do some damage. He's going to be balling. Chris Carson's going to have a good game, I would assume. Because I don't think the Vikings have that great of a D line. So I mean, I think they're going to be able to find ways to kill the Vikings.
Definitely agree with you. I just think it'll end up being close down the stretch there.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I think it'll be a close game. Yeah, I think it'll be a close game. Another interesting game here, the Packers and the 49ers, man.
This ought to be a really good game, man. The 49ers are 3.5 point favorites right now.
Yeah.
I'm rolling with Green Bay. They proved me wrong last week. I'm rolling with Green Bay. Even though that 49ers defense is as good as it is, I think Green Bay.
That's the only reason I'm hesitant is that 49ers defense, because their offense doesn't scare me. I don't trust Jimmy G with throwing the ball.
No, he's only got 2 touchdowns on the whole season so far.
I don't trust him throwing the ball. I saw even though they beat the Eagles, I saw what his throwing was, and it didn't impress me. They killed us with the run. I'm going with the Packers, man. I think they're going to be the ones that beat the 49ers.
Green Bay all the way in that Monday night or Sunday night game.
Yeah.
Brings us to the Monday night
game. Philly in Dallas.
In Dallas this early in the year.
In Dallas.
I'm rolling Philly.
You're going with Philly?
I'm rolling Philly. Let's go. Philadelphia go walk into Arlington and whoop that Cowboy ass. Okay?
Listen, I thought about this prediction all day today. And I was prepared to go with Dallas. I was going to pick Dallas.
Oh, shit.
Because it was in Dallas, and I didn't know what was going to happen.
I know you split,
With you picking Philly,
Philly.
And you hyping me up.
Philly.
I'm gonna roll with Philly, baby. I'm
Philly
going with
gonna
the
walk
Eagles.
in here.
Eagles
And
going
now,
walking.
if it's wrong, we're both wrong.
We're
You know
both
what I
wrong.
mean?
Exactly.
It
We're
is
both
what
wrong.
it is.
Exactly. That's why I don't mind. But I was expecting you to
I'm
pick
rolling
Philly.
with Philly. No, I picked the Cowboys last week, I know, but I also sent the group chat the message like these Cowboys suck. I don't trust them. I don't trust them at all. They're gonna be wishy-washy this whole season. Dak's gonna have 4 touchdown games and he's gonna have 1 touchdown game. So where's Zeke? You have Pollard, but Zeke ain't doing much. I think the Eagles will slowly start to get their things together here, even though got a huge injury. I know you're probably gonna get to that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that then. We have a couple huge injuries that happen.
Yeah, but I believe in Philly in this one here.
Yeah, I mean, as long as Nick Sirianni calls a complete game, calls a good game, I think we can win. Because I mean, God, even though with the injuries that happen, specifically the one on defense, I think our defense we haven't allowed over 17 points through these 2 games. Our defense, we stopped the 49ers 4 times to start the game. Like they had 4 like 3 and outs. So I mean, our defense has been good so far this year. I think as long as our defense is able to somewhat stop Dallas or at least stop them on a couple drives, I think our offense will be able to, score on Dallas's defense as long as Nick Sirianni's play calling is better this week than last week and allows Jalen Hurts to, take control of the offense.
Right. Completely agree with you.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'll definitely roll with Philly on that one. But that's our picks there for week 3 of the NFL season.
So far, like I said, through the season right now, we're very close on our records. So this one here, I think we only have 2 disparities here. So you could catch me by 2, or you know what I mean? You could catch me, or one of us will pull away by 1. We'll see what happens. But I'm glad we do have some disparities. That way, it'll keep going. Like the records will keep changing, But let's see where we're at by the end of the year.
All right. With that, we'll roll into the little bit of news we have before the bias bubble. There's really not too much. The NBA, Jahlil Okafor, who we talked about, was waived by the Nets. He signed with the Hawks since then. Signed with the Hawks. Nice. After 15 seasons in the NBA, JJ Redick has called it.
Pull up a shoot like JJ Redick.
He's JJ gone. Redick said he's done.
Congratulations on a long career, man. Won a championship in Dallas. I always liked the dude.
Yeah. Yeah, he's always been that, like, he was a sharpshooter, and then he kind of became that reliable role-playing teammate, He was very reliable up until the end,
Great veteran presence in the locker room as well.
Exactly. And the last bit of news, which was breaking today, we talk about this all the time. Philadelphia 76ers star Ben Simmons will not report for opening of training camp next week and intends to never play for another game for the franchise. And that's from Woj.
Not only intends to never play another game for the 76ers.
Yeah, Simmons hasn't spoken to the team since late August meeting when he communicated this message to the Sixers officials.
Exactly.
So he's gonna be treating the season like the playoffs, and he's just not gonna show up.
Yes. Exactly. Maybe on the next team he goes to, he'll learn how to shoot the ball. He's gonna still play stellar defense, but we'll see what happens. He's on his way out. It's a done deal at this point. We just don't know the result.
As far as Philadelphia's options, they have the option to fine or even suspend Simmons in October for failing to render services if he persists with a holdout. But actual money can't be docked from his checks until November. So if they don't trade him, they can suspend him or fine him. But yeah, so I mean, who knows what's going to happen, man? It's more than likely they're going to have to trade him, but they're definitely not going to get what they were asking.
Yeah, they have to. They should have got rid of him months ago because his value's been dropping because of the desperation of them needing to get rid of him.
Yeah, the problem was no one wanted to meet their outrageous asking price.
Exactly. I know it's because they trusted the process and they wasted so much building what they have, but it is what it is, man. Got to get rid of him. He doesn't want to be there.
Yeah, rumors are swirling that they could trade him to get John Wall from the Rockets.
Oh, I love John Wall, but That's not worth it to me. Ben
No.
Simmons is better than John Wall. So if that's what they end up with after
I don't
all of
think it would
this,
be a straight up trade. I think because the Rockets have a ton of assets.
yeah. So
now.
it'll be more than that, but it better be more balanced then, because John Wall is definitely nice, but he's not Ben Simmons, man.
Oh no,
maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah, for sure. But that's all the NBA news I have as far as like little bits and pieces here and there. The only things I have here is NHL projects 98% full vaccination rate among players going into the season. Yeah, so I mean they're not fooling around.
Yeah, that's damn high. I wonder what the other leagues would be. Probably somewhere around like 80 or 75. I mean,
we talked about before where they're saying that like they're able to fine and suspend players that aren't vaccinated. Like they're not joking around.
They made it rules, so.
Yeah. And the only other bit of news I have here is we don't talk about enough boxing. Manny Pacquiao announced he's going to be running for president of the Philippines.
I think he did before.
I think he did before too, but now he's doing it again. Damn it!
He's back in. He's like, all right, I hang the gloves up.
He said the time is now. I'm ready to rise to the challenge of leadership.
Hey man, let's see what happens. That'd be very interesting. But it's always interesting seeing Manny Pacquiao in the news. Every time I think about him, I think about that smiling face, man. He's always always seemed like he was such a genuinely happy person, even though he's out there like beating people up. He's just always smiling. So I'd like to see Manny Pacquiao succeed.
Absolutely. But yeah, that's all I have as far as news. We'll roll right into the bias bubbles this week, Vern. What do you have for us?
For my Lakers, okay?
Lakers news.
The little brother in LA, the Clippers, I'm going to shed some light on them, okay?
Okay. Oh.
They unveiled their new stadium and like the plans for it and everything, then actually broke ground on it this week here.
Yeah.
It looks pretty dope. It does look pretty dope. But it's about damn time that you got your own stadium. Get out of our basement. You know what I mean? Like, it's our stadium. Staples Center is ours. And it's going to be so great now that we don't got to share it with the Clippers. You don't got to see those stupid Clippers banners about being South Pacific champions or whatever, Pacific champions. Get the fuck out of here. Just that's reserved for championships, okay? So I'm really glad that they're getting their own stadium. It'll be more of just the Lakers thing there.
I bet like the like Staples Center staff is happy because that's a lot less work for them to do, having to like move shit around and like set up for Clippers games, switch courts.
Right. But there's going to be other events going on there, so the event staff will still probably have a lot to do.
Well, yeah, but that's not as far as basketball, yeah.
Right, exactly. You only have one court back there, or maybe now we could have two courts back there, and one of them be an alternate Lakers court or something. You know what I mean? So like, because you know how they put the paneling down and everything. So that'd be really cool. See what happens. I didn't even think about that.
That would be really cool.
But yep. So they're out of town. I think 5 years or 4 years. It's gonna be a little bit, but like they're on their way. Get the fuck out of here. Okay. The Lakers did announce a new partner with the patch. They're no longer going to be. Yep, no longer going to be sponsored by Wish. It'll be Bibigo. I think it's some type of, it's like some international something.
It looks more official. It doesn't look like weird like Wish. I don't know.
I feel like
it doesn't look
looking
cheap.
at a Lakers Wish jersey just feels cheap. And I feel like Lakers execs were like, we can't have Wish on our jersey, man. You see all these memes. We can't have Wish on. I don't care if they gave us $1 billion. Like, so I'm glad. Like you said, I think it looks way more official. If we're gonna like that patch that you have on there, that looks really clean.
Zenny,
just looks clean as shit. Wish looked cheap. It looked like some bullshit, So I'm glad we got a new sponsor there. Melo said LeBron is the GM of the Lakers. Okay, I thought that was pretty interesting because he's 100% right. I
saw that pic of Braun like unveiling with like the new patch.
Yeah,
where he has the number 6, and I was like, okay, nice.
I can't wait to get that jersey. We'll be getting them in the mail here soon, but I'll be showing that on the podcast. Speaking of that, is that one of the new jerseys that you got there?
Yeah, this is my Zach LaVine Chicago City jersey that they wore last year.
Looks really nice.
And this year, it's from last season. They had the City jerseys. The year before they had like these blue, like sky blue City jerseys, and then this year they had like these dope like black, red, and gold ones. I was like, I need to get one of those.
Chicago Broadway type of like feel to it.
Exactly. Yeah. And I needed a LaVine jersey, so like definitely had to scoop one.
Right.
Apparently next season they're coming out with a lot of retro jerseys for teams, and they're bringing back the Chicago red with like the cursive writing on it. I'm gonna have to get one of those as well.
Oh yeah, that's gonna look so nice, man.
Yeah.
But we also, the Lakers brought on David Fizdale as a head assistant coach.
Oh, really?
He has ties to LeBron in Miami and has been a head coach in New York and in Memphis. So really glad to bring him on board, man. It's like replacing Jason Kidd, a head coach type of talent as our assistant coach. So we're superstars stacked on the coaching staff as well there. And the last thing I had for the Lakers here is LeBron apparently organized a player mini camp before training camp even starts. Like he's organizing, getting the players together and like having a little mini camp to kind of just build chemistry before it even gets
That's
to
what like Zach
chemistry.
LaVine was doing here in the past couple weeks.
I thought that was pretty cool. He might have
cool.
even got the idea from Zach LaVine. I don't know, but that's pretty cool there. Just to get more reps in,
Yeah, definitely get some work in, build that chemistry, because it's a whole new team for you guys this year.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much, man. Other than like 2-3 pieces, but
yeah.
As far as my Patriots, very happy with the win over New York. Even though it's just the Jets, just the Jets. Very happy with that win, because if we would have lost that game, I would have been like, okay, what's going on here? You know what I mean? There's some losing to the Dolphins and then the Jets back to back. That's some trouble. If we would have beat the Dolphins, we'd be sitting atop the AFC East 2-0 by ourselves right now.
Yeah.
But we're not. So it's Buffalo, New England, and Miami are all 1-1. And then the Jets are 0-2, of course, because they're trash. So very happy about the win. 4 picks. Devin McCourty ended up getting a pick. Very happy about that. I just feel like that dude's ageless as well.
Yeah.
He's always involved, always, and he's hyping the teams up. That's why he's a captain, because he's so into it. I love watching his pregame speeches. Everything about it, man.
Yeah.
Devin McCourty for MVP. Mac Jones, man, through 2 games, 73.9 completion rate. Apparently that's good enough for like 6th best amongst all like eligible passers. So he's not putting up a ton of yards, but he's getting the ball exactly where it needs to be. Being safe with the football, doing what Bill Belichick asked him. So I saw a report about Josh McDaniels having to come out and say that the Patriots aren't holding back Mac Jones because of like him being a rookie, just because of the passes that we've been throwing here. He had to come out and say, we're not holding him back. It's just what the scheme's been lately, So that's football talk. They might be holding him back. Who knows? He's still 2 games into the season, but he's doing all right, man. So let's keep it going. Nothing crazy. Just keep it going. Keep building on each game.
Learn the system.
Yep, exactly. But then Nick Folk, who came off the practice squad to the active roster the last 2 weeks of the season. Okay.
Yeah.
He just got signed to the 53-man roster. He's officially on our team now. He just set a record last week, a New England record. Okay.
Really?
33 straight field goals made. Stefan Gauskowski only made 31 in a row. Okay. Damn. So like he broke a Patriots record. Nick Folk, man, like I'm like, oh shit. Okay. Keep him around. Let's keep it going. He's proven his worth at this point. So let's keep it going. Patriots defense, like I was saying, was looking great. Through 2 games. They're fantasy wise, at least, they're like ranked they're tied for number 1 as far as the best defense in the league there. So I just hope they keep it up, even without Gilmore, even without the boy. They're doing great. I'm super glad Hightower's back. I know we did miss Van Noy as well last week, who did great week 1, but keep it going. Try to just make it through as healthy as possible through the season here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the last thing I had here is the Patriots were going to be honoring Julian Edelman during our next game at halftime. So nice. I thought that was awesome.
That is really cool.
I ain't seen him honor Tom Brady.
They gonna do that at the game here in week 4.
Week 4, they're probably gonna have some crazy ceremony where they're just Tom Brady.
I'm sure they will. It's
gonna be ridiculous, but I thought awesome. Edelman's getting a moment to shine here, So let's just see how that is. I really hope that they have some form of it on TV, or I'll just watch it later on YouTube or something. But I want to watch that. I really want to see that. So look forward to that as well.
Nice. The only thing other than Eagles I have here is Bulls news. Zach LaVine had an interview where he said that he's gonna be in Chicago as long as they want him, and he's like, I am determined to make a deal work, and he's like, I'm determined to build something here in the city and go the distance pretty much. So I mean, he wants to build a team in Chicago and he wants to win.
I heard Paul George say that about Oklahoma City. I heard Kyrie Irving say that about Boston. So, like, that's all I'm going to say. That's all.
I mean, Zach LaVine's been there for like 4 years now, 3 years now. So, I mean, he's got the time. He didn't just come in. He's been here for a minute.
You're right.
He's pretty much kind of helped the organization go out and get these guys that they picked up.
And get them to where they are now.
Exactly. So, I mean, the Bulls would be foolish to, like, have him help go out and pick who he wants to play with just to like let him walk. I'm fully confident they're going to work out a long-term extension here.
I agree.
It might not happen soon. It will probably happen towards the end of the season or at next off season, but it's going to happen.
Inevitable. Right.
Yeah, it's inevitable at this point. But other than that, Eagles news, some crazy stat here. Jalen Hurts balling as usual. He's the number 2 ranked QB in the league on PFF as of right now. If you check it out. Right behind old Tampa Tom Brady, Jalen Hurts is number 2.
What? That's crazy. That's awesome.
Jalen Hurts is more regular season 300-yard passing games with 2 and 5 career starts than Lamar Jackson has 1 and 38 career starts.
Yeah,
pretty
crazy. Pretty wild stat I saw this week here. I was like surprised that I hope Lamar gets some more there, but Jalen Hurts is off to a great start to his career here.
Great start. Most scrimmage yards in first 29 career games. This is pretty interesting. Miles Sanders at number 1 with 2,500 yards. 2 is LaShawn McCoy with 2,400 yards, and Deshaun Jackson at 2,200 yards. So Miles Sanders, and then 29 starts, is already past what McCoy and Deshaun Jackson had in their 29 starts.
Wow. Okay. Shows you like the talent that's there. As long as he stays healthy, he's going to continue balling for you. He's one of your best pieces.
Exactly.
Saquon Jr.
I mean, it might. I might because I'm biased, but I think he's gonna have a better career than Saquon.
I completely agree with you, but that's only because Saquon can't shake these injuries.
Exactly.
I think he's like very similar to him, it's just tinier, Yeah, and I think he's more elusive than Saquon, so he's gonna be able to avoid some of them hits and things like that.
Definitely. Jason Kelce had to dye his hair blonde. I don't know if you saw this.
No.
Jason Kelce dyed his hair blonde because he lost a bet to Zach Ertz.
Shit.
He recently dyed his hair blonde. The bet was that Kelce thought Ertz was going to be traded before week 1.
Oh my God. That's fucked. I bet you traded by
Kelce
week 1.
said that he said it's a bet that he's glad he lost.
All right, yeah. That's crazy though. Like, imagine that.
I think you're going to get traded, man. Sorry.
I don't think you'll be around by week 1. And he shows up to the locker room with blonde hair dye.
Yeah.
Like in a box. Like,
Tom,
you ready?
Time's come.
I'm surprised. Like, I know this is kind of off kilter, but it still has to do with the Migos. That thing I sent you about the guy making a prediction, like, I'll shave my eyebrow off if.
Oh,
Philly,
yeah. Yeah,
I'm pretty disappointed that didn't happen. I really wanted to see that.
I was looking. He must have knew something. He had some inside information I didn't.
Yeah.
Eagles signed Josh Sweat to a 3-year contract extension. It's 3 years, 40 mil, 26 guaranteed, which is great, man. This dude has been absolutely amazing the past 2 seasons with us. He's super young. He's another pick that has worked out for us, surprisingly. And I'm glad we locked it down now because he's having a strong start already. And by the end of the season, we would have had to pay him so much more.
Yeah, exactly.
Similar to the Jordan Mailata signing last
Exactly.
week.
Exactly.
Yeah. And kind of, this is I think it was the QB percentage for PFF. This is the quarterback rating. Tom Brady has a 93 rating on PFF at number 1. Jalen Hurts has 87. Kirk Cousins has 85, and then Kyler Murray has 84.
Damn.
So those are the top 4.
Man. He's up there.
Yeah. And that's just QBR.
Right. Need to get some of the other factors. And I know this is good for any team, but some of the other factors like the Rhaegar touchdown, like things like that can really just make those stats translate to wins.
Exactly.
It's not necessarily Jalen's fault that they're not winning.
He has the intangibles. Like he
Right.
has it. He looks cool, calm, and collected. I think what killed it was the game plan. I think it was like the play calling and Sirianni's decision making in the end. But I mean, I'm sure there was definitely some plays that I wish he would have did a little bit better. There was one where they could have got a first down on third down if he would have passed it to Dallas Goedert. They only had like 3 targets to the tight ends that game, which was ridiculous. Shit. You have 2 great tight ends you should have been using across the middle, and you didn't utilize them at all. But yeah, I only have a couple more things here. Nick Sirianni confirmed Brandon Graham ruptured his Achilles, out for the season. And this is a man that has played at pretty much every game. Like this dude I think he's only missed like 2 games the past 4 years or something like that. Like he's pretty reliable, and he's one of the main leaders on defense, man. And like what you were saying, about your Patriots, he's one of those dudes that he makes the speeches within the locker room. He's one giving the speeches on the field before the game starts. He's that dude. He's a leader. He's a captain. He got voted captain for a reason.
Yelling at the other team. With a giant smile on his face, but like yelling at the other team as they're walking by, like, "We coming for you, baby."
I've never seen that dude without a smile on his face, bro.
I haven't either, man. He's one of my favorite Eagles, man, to be honest with you. Like, so it really sucks to see that happen. Even though he's the one that hit Brady.
Yeah.
Fuck that man. But like, I can't knock this dude's attitude. He's always happy.
Where I think that because Josh Sweat is going to fill that role, and Ryan Kerrigan, who they brought in, I think we're going to be able to kind of fill in and kind of, patch that up where he is, because I don't think I love Brandon Graham, but I don't think he's one of the top in his position,
Right. But still.
But I think because of his morale, and he's the captain, and he cut that brings a whole nother aspect to the game, which is going to be missed, unfortunately. But they apparently, from what Fletcher Cox and some like Sirianni have already said, they're actually going to be having him in the facility and on the sidelines during games, working with the defense. And he's actually going to be present at the games and in the locker room. He's going to be still there with the team.
I did see that, because he said, he's like, I'm not going nowhere. I'm looking forward to 2022, but I will be there for every game,
a day after the game, when he found out, he went and did his radio show at Chicky and Pete's. Like, he didn't miss it. And then he walked out on crutches with a smile on his face, saying like, hey, he's like, I was bummed for a minute. And he's like, and then I figured there's no reason to cry. We got a lot of season left. He's like, we can still do this. I'm going to be there. And I'm like, this dude is all heart, man. I love Brandon Graham.
I do too. You cannot knock that, man, or that attitude.
Can't at all. And Brandon Brooks on the O-line, man. I can't say I'm surprised. This dude is so injury prone at this point.
Yeah.
I think after this season, it's time to just move on. I think we got to move on from Brandon Brooks. I mean, when he's in, he's great. Don't get me wrong. He covers great when he's in, but he gets banged up so easily now.
You need that availability, man.
Exactly. Best availability. Ability is availability.
Exactly.
So, I mean, Landon Dickerson, who we picked up from Alabama with our second round pick, he was cleared a couple weeks ago to play. He practiced the past 2 weeks, and he made his first, he came in during the game. He's going to have his first career start this coming week, at the right tackle there. So, I mean, right guard, sorry, not tackle. But yeah, we'll see how he does. But I think both are we're lucky we have depth at both positions at this point. So I don't think it's going to matter a lot, other than pretty much the leadership role that's in
and he'll still be there.
Exactly. They'll still be there. So the last 2 things I have here, 3 things. We claimed Bills guard Jack Anderson off the Bills practice squad today. He's an offensive guard, so we picked up pretty much more depth there to fill the role since we put Brandon Brooks on IR. And the last 2 things are Jalen Hurts stats, because Jalen Hurts balling so far, man.
He's balling, man.
Jalen Hurts is the only QB in NFL history to have 1,000+ pass yards and 300+ rush yards in his first 5 career starts.
Jesus, that's a crazy stat. only QB in history.
And only QB in history to have 1,000+ pass yards and 300 rush yards in 5 career starts.
Damn, great start to his career, man. I hope he just keeps going.
And the last thing I have here is, why not compare him to Carson Wentz's first 6 starts of his career, which they came out with today. Wentz's pass rating was 92. Hurts is 86. Wentz was 118, 185. Hurts 108 to 191. With Wentz having 1,327 yards. Hurts had 1,373 yards. So he had more passing yards in the first 6 games. Hurts did.
Definitely had more rushing yards.
They both had 8 touchdowns and 3 interceptions in their first career starts. Carson had 43 rushing yards, 0 touchdowns. Hurts has 445 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns.
God damn. That's the difference, man. He's so dynamic.
6 career starts. Like, that's if his first career starts were in the starting a season, he would be on pace for 1,200 rushing yards.
Right. As a quarterback, man.
As a quarterback. So I mean they're pretty similar. Wentz just had more pass attempts, obviously, because he wasn't rushing. But I mean, Hurts ended up with more, even with less pass attempts. He had more yards and he had the same amount of touchdown and interception ratio. So I mean, it's a great career start, man. I think I don't know how far they're going to go this year. It's a long season. I think they're going to be better than what a lot of people thought once they kind of get rolling. But I think next year is when it's time. We're going to, we'll have draft picks to work with.
You'll have free agents coming.
And I'm assuming we're rolling with Jalen. So we'll have a full season and then a full off season to build around Jalen.
Right. Then Devontae Smith year 2.
Devontae Smith year 2. They'll have a ton of cap to work with, a ton of money to work with, a ton of draft picks to work with. So next year is going to be real exciting for the Eagles, but who knows how this one will pan out here.
Right.
On the Dallas. That's what I got to say.
On the Dallas.
With that note, we'll roll in here to the crazy sports stat fact of the podcast. Let me see here. I got a couple of them. We'll just roll with Peyton Manning. It doesn't have anything to do with rushing yards. I mean, with passing yards. Peyton Manning's longest NFL run is 33 yards, and Trent Richardson's longest run was 32 yards.
That dude, Trent Richardson, was one of the biggest busts in my mind, you know what I mean, in NFL history. All I can remember is him bowling in Alabama and just doing nothing on the Colts, nothing on the Browns. I can't believe that Peyton Manning's longest career rush is longer than his longest career rush. That's mind-boggling. I have no idea. That's ridiculous. Trent Richardson, god damn it. He had so much potential. Man.
So much potential. But I figured you would like that one because it was Peyton Manning, but it wasn't even a passing stat.
That's crazy, man.
But yeah, that's the show for this week. Make sure to go follow us on Twitter at SquadPodSports. We're trying to get to 1,000 follows by the end of the year. We're at 820 as of right now, so we're going up. We're on pace to get to 1,000. So help us get there. We're trending up. We're looking to try to get to 100 subscribers on YouTube, hopefully by the end of the year.
Hopefully, that would be awesome too. That's a great goal to have.
Yeah, exactly. So if you can, please like and subscribe. Check out all the plethora of content we have on our channel here. Mm-hmm. And until next week, we'll see everybody later. Peace.